Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and for this page I wanted to lean more into the pink side of this collection. I'm really in love with all the navy papers and the more bluey layouts I've done so far. I think they really complement the photos better than these pinky papers, but I really didn't want this whole section just to be a bunch of navy layouts. So a couple of these I'm going to try and pull more in the pink direction. So I decided to go with this kind of more pinky background. I have a scrap of this blue, so I'm still going to map both of these photos in blue. And then you saw I trimmed them down from 4x6 to 4x4. I'm really trying to play with different like photo proportions. Whenever I have a lot of pictures of the same kind of event, I really want to play with size and having different layouts have different shaped photos, different proportions, different numbers of photos. So I'm trying to switch it up. That way as you're flipping through, they're kind of interesting and they don't get too boring, which is why I printed several kind of larger pictures. So this is the one with two of the smaller ones. I just trimmed into a 4x4. You can see I went ahead and just matted both of them, and I'm playing around with the idea of keeping them separate like this, but I can't help myself. I have to overlap them. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do layer wise. I'm kind of pulling in scraps here to figure out what I want to do. And I have a scrap of this wood grain from a previous page, and I really love how the brown wood grain looks with these pink papers. So I'm thinking I'll take this scrap and cut it into a big banner, and that will be the back layer where these photos will sit, and I'll start designing around it that way. I really love layouts with really large banners. So this was kind of a fun one, but instead of kind of having it more to the side like I like to do, I'm trying to keep the banner more in the middle, and then I'll play with asymmetry when I get to my embellishments. So that's my plan. Because I only had a scrap of that wood grain, I kind of needed to play with the size a little bit, but because my photos overlap on both sides, I can have this huge gap and you won't know. I did decide to ink everything in brown since I'm using a wood grain that's brown, so I'm going through and doing that really quick. I end up inking the whole 12 by 12 in that brown as well, so it just takes me a minute to go through and do that really quick. But I kind of like this one for playing in a different way. I was kind of sad to not do another navy page because I'm really liking how those look. But I did go through and cut apart the whole cut apart page that came in this collection. I had my pack of ephemera, but there was still a cut apart page that had different kind of ephemera on it. And I knew I would need more than that one pack of embellishments. So I went ahead and fussy cut all of that. That's why there is so much embellishment to the left there. So I've kind of compiled my die cuts with the cut apart ephemera. So I kind of have a cohesive like little pile of stuff to work from. But now I'm going to layer these up now that I have them inked. I like them staggered like that. I think that adds some interest. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this section together. You'll see that once I get the two photos stuck together, I'll kind of play with the spacing on the banner. I want as much of that wood grain to show with the limited size of the scraps that I have. I want this to look as long of a banner as possible, so I kind of fiddle with that a little bit. And then at this point, I kind of get stuck. I really liked this banner idea, but from here, I kind of don't know where to go. So I start looking towards my embellishment to try to figure out what I want to do kind of in that area. I'm thinking I might have a cluster in the upper left-hand corner. So I went ahead and grabbed a doily kind of as a base layer for my ephemera, and I know I do want to pull in some of the pink ephemera pieces I haven't really played with so far, so I'm thinking maybe the pink flowers, maybe some of the pink butterflies. You can see I also went and grabbed a glassine bag. That's always my go-to cluster starter on a page like this. I really like how those two things look layered together behind a bunch of ephemera. So now I'm just kind of going through everything. I really like this fussy cut ring of butterflies. I had just fussy cut it and was excited to use it, but it was just looking not right on this page. So I decided to go in a different direction, but I played with it for a little bit. I decided to just let it sit there for a little bit and start looking on my other cluster. Maybe if I kind of figure out what I want to do in the other area, it'll help me figure out what I want to do in that one. So I'm thinking because I have this cluster in the upper left-hand corner, I'll kind of have this diagonal flow of embellishment and frame my photos with a cluster in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in some of these pink butterflies. I know I want to introduce those on this page since I am doing a more pinky tone page. So I'm just playing with them and trying to figure out which ones I want there. I really like the larger one that kind of faces in, and then having a couple of the like flat facing butterflies flying up from that one. And I'm thinking since I do that, maybe I can add a couple smaller ones floating up from the butterfly ring at the top. But that ring is just throwing me off. I think it's just because of how many different colored butterflies are in that ring. Once I started playing with the pink butterflies, I kind of just decided to stick with them. So I swapped that ring out for some of the other pink butterflies just so the clusters are more cohesive and it's not super busy. So I'm going to get those layered up, and then you can see I'm starting to add some of the pink florals, and I really like how those start to look together. I'm also pulling in some of the green leafy bits just to pull in some of the green from the photos and have some contrast from all the pinks. So I'm liking how this is looking. I'm just going to play with these clusters a little bit, but I really like how this ends up looking. So I'm going to start sticking stuff down. I'm also going to pop some of actually I think I pop all the butterflies up on foam. So all the butterflies have some dimension, and then all of the florals and the leaves I just glue straight down, but I really like that play on dimension with having the butterflies pop up a little bit. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get those layered. But I think these clusters look really cute framing this area. So I'm just going to get them glued down now, get the foam dots on. I end up pulling this up again though, because as you can see, I do love the addition of these clusters, but the layering just doesn't seem done yet. It looks too plain with just having the one blue mat around the photos and this one wood grain banner. So I do end up pulling up some of this stuff so I can tuck one more layer behind all of this to kind of beef it out a little bit. I don't want to add too much. I don't want it to look too distracting. I kind of like how clean it's looking. The layers for me just look a little bit too plain, so I have to figure that out in a minute. But as long as I know where these clusters are going, I'm going to go ahead and get them glued down. It's just the butterflies I glue to the background. I think I have to move a little bit. But I'm just trying to get these spacing right. I'm just using a scrap of a doily, so I'm trying to make sure that part's all hidden behind the layers. I'm trying to make sure it pops up enough to be the kind of base for the cluster I'm going for. But I'm tucking some more florals up here too, and then I'll get the butterflies down. I do end up going into my stash and pulling in some Happy Mail. I have some Maggie Holmes stickers. I think it's from the Bloom collection. I had it sent to me a while ago, and I used them I think on like a Valentine's page and some of Bennett's pages, but I've kind of been saving them since then to use with Maggie Holmes stuff. But for whatever reason, that kind of gold foiling sticker that comes on that sticker sheet I thought would be so pretty with this collection. I usually don't go straight to gold. I mean, I do love my Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine, but I wasn't planning on pulling it in a whole lot on this collection. But as I've worked with it, I think it's because I'm bringing in the Denise Flissy Jane charms that have gold in them. I've really liked adding gold. So I'll end up pulling in some of those Maggie Holmes stickers from my stash to kind of beef out my clusters a little bit and add a little bit more gold. So I wanted to mention that in case I forget to when I pull it in. It wasn't originally in this with this collection, but for this page I just thought it would be really nice. So I think I'm trying to figure out what I want to do layer wise. It just looks too plain, and then I realized I have some vellum in my stash this month already. I don't know if you've seen all the layouts that I've used the vellum on, but I've used vellum from Allie and Ronnie and Karen this month. So I'm really pulling the Happy Mail vellum, and I'm really excited about getting it used up. I just think it adds the perfect touch. It's not distracting, but it adds the perfect layering texture. So I have just a plain sheet of vellum here. I didn't want to distract from the background or the clusters I already had, but I thought maybe if I did a big vellum banner behind the wood grain banner and just distress the edges to give it a little bit of texture and just to add another layery bit, that might be all I need. So I really like how that ends up looking. Part of me wanted to layer more paper, but I really kind of liked how this clean banner design was looking, so I tried to just leave it at the vellum. I think there's enough going on. The papers in this collection, as they are very kind of textural looking. They kind of have printed mixed media on them. So I kind of just want to let the papers breathe this month. I will do kind of minimal mixed media on a couple of the pages, but I really think this collection is so beautiful and just want to let the products breathe. And I also just am in love with these photos, so I don't want to distract too much from them. But there was a whole chunk of vellum that was going to be covered, so I ended up gutting that too. But now you can kind of see with that extra piece, that extra layer of the vellum, I think it was just the perfect touch that it needed. So I'm going to get all of that glued down now. Okay, and now that that is glued down, I'm going to start pulling in the stickers I was talking about. So I think this gold foil sticker sheet is just like perfect. There's already a word that says sweet on it. I didn't really have a title for this one, but I do want to try to title them just for design reasons this month, just as an extra thing to look at, and it pulls an extra gold, extra shine. So I am just going to title this sweet because that was one of the gold foil titles on the sticker sheet. And then you can see there's a whole bunch of word stickers. That's really why I pulled out this sticker sheet. I thought it would be really nice in both of these two clusters to just layer up a couple of these word stickers. I've really gotten away from using word stickers. I used to use them on almost every single page because I used to watch Adele Toomey a lot, Inky Quill, and she always has the tiny word stickers. So I really picked that up from her and I really enjoyed doing that, but I haven't done it that often and like lately, so I thought it was fun to kind of revisit that and add that into my design. And I just think that gold foiled sticker is that perfect shine. You can really see when it hits the light, it just glows. And I think it's really sweet. There's also a heart sticker I added to the title, and then I'll go in with two of those little Denise charms just to add another texture, another piece of dimension. But before I do that, I'm going in with Gold Huddy Swap Color Shine. I'm trying to use that whenever I'm using gold just to get some gold sprinkles on the actual paper along with the embellishment just to make everything kind of cohesive. So I got that down, and then I'm pretty sure I do the Denise charms next. So I'm trying to figure out what I am getting done here. I think I just stuck down those butterflies that were left. Yeah, and then here are the charms. So I'll end up threading some gold and white twine through those. And then they're already backed on a foam pop dot. So I kind of just stick them down how they are, one in each cluster. And I think that's a nice addition as well. Trying to figure out where to put them, but I end up putting them by the word stickers. I just think that ends up filling out the space that needs filled up, and I just like the texture on the very corners of the page. I think that's cute. I didn't want them to detract from the butterflies, but yeah, I think that looks good. And then I don't know if I pull it in next or not. I'm threading them with twine really quick, but I also pull in another Happy Mail thing. I'm really liking adding Happy Mail to this collection this month, especially because I was already low on like embellishment type things. So I've really been reaching for it, and Lisa just sent me some Christmas goodies, and one of the things she included was Liquid Pearls Dimensional Pearlescent Paint in the color Brass. It's from Ranger, and I've never used them before, but they're very much like Nuvo Drops, or like stickles, but not glittery. It's like pearlescent, and it's like the perfect touch. I think this is the first page I used it on, and I think I used it on almost every page after this one because I think it was just the perfect gold touch. It's so like, I don't even know how to describe the texture of it, but I just love it. It just looks yummy. It's like High Swap's Gold Color Shine, but it's just pearly and like, I don't know, instead of the glitter. You'll have to look in the close-ups and see if you can kind of tell the difference, but I'm really liking it as an accent, and you'll just see me kind of dot it around. I kind of want there just to be this like glow in between the butterflies, almost when like dust catches the sunlight through a window. Like, it just gives me this very magical feel in between the butterflies, especially combined with the color shine. So I really like that as a finishing touch. I think it looks so cute. And here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.